So far, I missed some of the video, but we have tied his head around to the left and to the right, just separately. Spent some time, 15 minutes-ish, about each direction. He's also had some time with just the snaffle in his mouth and just standing there, maybe, a couple hours, just letting him play with it. And here, I'll show you how far you want to tie their head to the side. About right there at 45 degree. Maybe not much farther than that. That's too far. But right there is kind of where you want. And that'll help them just kind of learn how to find that bit and find the pressure.
Test it and fight it and test it, and eventually they get to where it's just easier for them just to follow their nose and follow the pressure. I do the halter first because in the past I've noticed if you do it with a snaffle, they'll gape their mouth open, they'll get their tongue over the bit, sore their mouth up because they fought that. So I let them fight the halter first, and then I put the snaffle in their mouth. I'm trying out this little kind of a side pole snaffle mixture here. It kind of actually keeps that snaffle up, and I've noticed that the colts that I've put this on, they don't get their tongue over it, and they don't get there's more pressure out here versus just the snaffle ring itself. Like I got all of this bringing their head around. So anyways, hitch is getting better. Still kind of not sure about the saddle, but I'm just going to treat him like a saddle horse from now on. Just tie him up, throw the saddle on, and not make a big deal about it. What I'm going to do next, it's kind of a copycat to Hayden Upton's program, with my own twist to it. If you want to go watch that, just watch Hayden Upton on that Cutting Horse TV, Cutting Horse Training Online deal. Hayden Upton's got a pretty unique way of getting Colt started, and I really like it. It works well. Anyway, so this is just one way to skin the cat. Go. I feel like Hitch kind of got a feel for the round pen. I feel for what I'm after. I appreciate that he's doing that now. He's not trying to just leave town and avoid me. Ooh, very good. I'm hoping he's kind of getting used to me just walking up here. How I'm going to run this, I usually just take that one off. First time, I'll run that rope through the stirrup. And then there's your breast collar D-ring here. Go through that. And then I just hook it to the snaffle. And that little setup there. Oh, sorry, I spooked him. I'll get used to that. He's been messed with for about a week and some change now. At this point, everything I do after this, I'm going to try and maybe tomorrow sneak a ride on him. But I'm going to continue this little program we got here and then interchange it with some rides and just how he starts getting used to me and I'm not just wasting time on the ground. But anyways, what this deal here, I can pull on that stirrup a little bit. And they can smack his belly. This is the first time he's had this, so this will be new for him. He can see that stirrup flop around and spook him, and see it in the sunlight there. That's where he gets scared. And once they get used to that stirrup, I take the rope out of it because it's kind of, we made our point. There's no reason to keep bothering him. Some of them spookier colts, they see that stirrup flop around, they buck around, have a conniption fit, but seems like he's getting over it. What we're after here is I'm looking for kind of a one rein stop. I'm not going to hawk it to him and yank his head around. It's not very fair. But we are going to pull on him a little bit and just see if we can get him to stop with his nose turned in. He wants to let down there. That's okay. Well, I didn't have to pull on him. See how good this works? I didn't have to pull on him. There was a slight little bump there on that rope. Anyways, make sure your rope is thin enough that it slips in and out of that ring easy. You know, it's not just like a constant bind, because you'll create a dead spot. He's wanting to be pretty good now. The reason this Colt likes to travel, he likes to move around a lot and run away and spin around and just kind of anytime he wants to just hang out with me like this, I'm just gonna let him do it. So that'd be good for him. All right, so now that we've kind of got some warmed up and he's kind of felt the saddle on his back, seen the stirrup bounce off his belly there, I'm just gonna stop and I'm just gonna slowly pull some pressure. Ooh, okay. See, his hip kind of came towards me because he saw that stirrup, so he's gonna kind of guard that hip and throw his leg out. And anyways, that's what we're after right here. Another thing too is it also kind of lets me come up, maybe even mess around, move my arm around. See, there's a little spot there. He's nervous. Pull the slack out of this rope. This will kind of let me walk up multiple times. To some colts, they don't like being approached. Send him back around. Now I'm gonna slowly add some pressure. Ooh, easy, easy. Perfect. Like that. I hardly pulled on this rope. That's really good. Also, got to be careful if you're going to leave the rope on the stirrup. I might do it one more time with the stirrup to make sure their mouth doesn't get caught on that. I've seen that happen where if they open their mouth and then that stirrup's right there, they might get caught on it. Anyways, he's kind of nervous about me walking up here. I'm just going to pretend like it's no big deal. Wave that stirrup around. He didn't like that. It's all right. Scratch his belly a little bit. And I'm also going to start adding a little button here. When I get on colts, either A, I'll tap their butt with the rein to get them going, that first ride, tap their butt, or I'll also tap that elbow right there. Not quite. Send them off. I have less bronc rides. Oops, missed that rope. By tapping an elbow and then just getting them. And also at the same time, they don't lean on me as bad if I turn them. I can tap their elbow and they'll kind of bow out and walk around. I've had less bronc rides doing it that way. And a lot of them colts, when you're riding them, if you haven't touched that elbow and then your boot starts bouncing off of it their first ride, that can make them buck around. So they get kind of used to that pressure there. And that's just if you're by yourself starting colts. I just figured that out because it made life so much easier for me if I just tap that elbow, have their nose in a little bit, and then they just walked around and we had no problems. It seriously has made life so much easier. If you got someone helping you, it's useless because they can help you get going and then you can start adding your own pressure. But something that worked for me. Ooh. Drop some pressure there. If they turn around, that's okay. Pitch them some slack so they don't get tangled up. They will Christmas tree themselves every once in a while, which is good. I think that's good for them. That's why we spend all the time putting ropes everywhere. Like, they're just getting comfortable with things touching them and being a little bound up every once in a while. I'd also like him to, at this point, I'm going to hold some pressure here so he doesn't just look away and get ready to run like that right there. I don't want that. At this point, I kind of want his mind on me now. Give him a little tug there. He was trying to be a little tight. Pull some slack out. A little nudge, a little smell. Hold on to his face, he didn't run. Wave that stirrup around. Now I can test out my elbow. Send him off. Now the elbow deal, that's like first ride, second ride maybe, and after that I leave it alone. Never really had any issues that, 30 days down the road, I tap their elbow and they just leave town. I use that stirrup. I can bounce that stirrup around some more. Ooh. Oh, easy, easy. Ooh. I just want them to do that. I don't really want them turning around right now. For your rein cow horses, cutting horses, I want them to do this. Like almost like I'm the cow, or if you're on them and there's a cow, to do this. That's kind of what we're after. And that's why Hayden Upton does that for his 2-year-old sales, is he gets them to do this. So like I'm already, like the Colt starting, I'm already thinking about how can I get this horse connected to a cow. And this is kind of a way to do it. Hayden's got a different setup and it works for him, but I like this. Am I doing too much talking? Oop, 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 oop. Hang with him here. Hayden also talked about he'll start adding pressure later on. Once I got him kind of trained as far as like stopping, he wants, and I want too, is like I put pressure on them, make them get scared, make them run away, and then you just pull that and then they shut down.
I lost my microphone here, but anyways, the rest of this time here, I'm just spending time rinse and repeat, run them around, pull that rein, get them to stop, and pretty soon, as you repeat this, they get softer and softer and softer, and they just start to learn to come to you when you pull that rein. It makes it super simple when you start riding them. They already kind of know how to get around and turn around and come to you. Makes the process so much easier. One word of caution when doing one rein stops like this, like I'm just in my tenny runners. It's the end of the day. But if you're wearing spurs, you just got to be careful that that rope doesn't wrap around your leg and your spurs, and then you go for a little skiing trip. It's happened a couple times to me, but I've gotten to where I'm semi-paying attention to my tail. I also don't have a super long driving rein. It's just long enough for this round pen. I would cut your rope down so it's just long enough that you can get something done. I'm also putting pressure on this Colt, sending him away, putting pressure, getting a little worried, and then shutting him down. And just teaching him, like, when there's pressure, to, like, shut down, think about your feet, think about where you're at. And anyway, they get really broke this way, in my opinion. I trimmed up some of the videos so you didn't have to watch me just repeating that step. But here he kind of got a little stiff on me, and I'm just kind of showing a little trick that I do. You can push your thumb in the side of their nose. There's a kind of a soft skin. You don't use your fingernail because they will bleed. But if you just push with your thumb, just the pad, and if you got one that's kind of hanging on you and you're just kind of working on it right there, you can push your thumb in there, and then their nose will come to you instantly. And then you can release your rein immediately after that, and then they just connect the dot. I don't know why, but when I've done it that way, they just, all you want me to do is come here. And it just makes it super simple, and they kind of understand what it is if you feel like they're hanging on your hand a little bit. But anyways, and here I just jump up on the saddle, and then that's it.